Don't Die is now in theaters, and this is a zombie comedy film about the town of Centerville. Now, they find themselves battling a zombie horde, and the thing is, this is a quiet town, so this is a very big surprise. Now, based on the trailers, you would think that there is a lot of zombie action. There isn't. Just throwing it out there right now. And this is a cast that stars Adam Driver, Bill Murray, Tilda Swinton, Steve Buscemi, Danny Glover, Cale Wondry Jones, and ironically, Selena Gomez is in this too. This is a film I was anticipating because based on the trailer, I was like, this could be interesting. And it was. This film was a blast from start to finish. I really, really dug this movie. But I'm saying it right now, this movie is not for everyone. This film has some of the driest humor I think I've seen in a very, very long time. It's the type of thing where this movie is a slow build. It really does build the tension of the zombies. Like at first, you almost don't even think that it's like a zombie flick, like at first. But the way it builds to it, it makes a lot of sense because you get to know all these townspeople. You really start to care about them because they all have these like little quirks. And it really does make a lot of movie and TV show references. Like at the very beginning, there's references to the Andy Griffith Show, which I was surprised, honestly. There's references to Twin Peaks, especially with the obsession of coffee. Fargo, both the TV show and the movie. Night of the Living Dead, those references are all over. Dawn of the Dead, they have references to that. There are just so many references that I lost track, honestly, after a while, how many references they were making. And I love it. That's personally some of my favorite type of humor. Like last year, Game Night did that, where they were just dropping all those pop culture references. But I think what I wasn't expecting, and I liked even more than the dry humor and the pop culture humor, is the fact that it was also self-referential. I mean, you have a film that literally will stop in its tracks, and as they're driving, they'll literally put in the soundtrack of the theme song of this movie and call it out. And they'll even call out the director, Jim Jarmusch, like his name. And I love that. I really do like that type of humor as well. So for me personally, it hits all the marks for me. It has the type of humor that I like. I like unique humor, and dry humor is my type of humor because I don't see it too often, and that's why I was able to appreciate it. Self-referential, pop culture humor, I also like when done well, and I think that this movie hits its marks more often than not. I also found the cast to be really good, especially Adam Driver. I loved his character. Honestly, Adam Driver is one of my favorite actors working right now. I loved him in BlacKkKlansman and Logan Lucky. Like, I know everyone talks about him in Star Wars, but my goodness, in Logan Lucky and especially BlacKkKlansman and now this, he's really up and coming. I like him a lot. Bill Murray was also great, and the chemistry between those two were fantastic, I thought. I liked the main theme song, which, throwing it out there again on repeat, I think it's really good. Again, the humor works, and I think the way it's shot is also really unique. And the production design definitely helps with the way it's shot because it feels like a 1950s movie. And then other times it doesn't feel like that. It reminds me of It Follows in that regards because It Follows, for those of you that haven't seen it, it doesn't really differentiate itself with what time period it is. It could literally be any time period because there are certain elements where it's like, oh wait, the cars are from like the 80s, or the silverware from the 50s, stuff like that, where you're just like not sure when the time period is. And this film, The Dead Don't Die, it's kind of like that as well. The cars are like from the 1960s, but the setting's from like the 1950s. But at the same time, they have phones from the 2010s. It's very interesting. I liked that. I really did like that whole approach. The ending I personally found not only satisfying, but also very unique. I was not expecting it to end the way it did, but at the same time, they are literally dropping hints throughout the movie with how it ends, and I loved it. I think that it does build to a climax that if you have given into the humor already, I think you'll be able to appreciate the final act. But again, this isn't for everyone. I know I'm repeating myself, but the movie does that, so it makes sense. But I have to emphasize, this isn't for everyone. Like, if you're going into this movie thinking it's just going to be like a typical zombie movie, with lots of zombie action, you're going to be kind of disappointed because there really isn't that much zombie action, so to speak. And if you're expecting like a typical comedy where, you know, you have two acts that are trying to be super funny, then a final act where, you know, friendships are tested and, you know, they're no longer friends and then they become friends again and they save the day. It's not your type of movie. They don't do that. Like, they are realistic about it, where they just have, you know, friends be friends for the entire movie, and it doesn't feel really imbalanced, at least to me personally. And as you can tell, I really dug this movie. Is it flawless? No. Upon first viewing, I do think, as much as I said I love the setting and the characters, I do kind of wish that they dove more into some of these characters. Like Steve Buscemi's character, I loved. I thought he was hilarious. And Caleb Landry Jones' character, I really liked. I guess because I kind of found myself to be similar to him with, you know, being really nerdy and loving movies, you know, obviously. But it's the type of thing where that's kind of like on me, I feel like, and not the movie itself. But at the same time, there are elements that could have been more fleshed out with the characters. But nonetheless, besides that, I still really dug this movie. And I personally, I'll be giving The Dead Don't Die a 4 out of 5 star rating, which for those like a hot sauce rating, it's a good old Louisiana pure crystal hot sauce. Again, I personally dug this movie. It was a very unique experience. It's definitely an independent comedy. Side note, I was with some friends and my girlfriend, and these two old ladies were next to us, and zombies started like eating these other two people, and they got up and left. I started dying of laughter because I found it hilarious. I'm just thinking in my mind, I'm like, what were you expecting from a movie called The Dead Don't Die? Were you really not expecting there to be zombies eating people? Like, come on, bro. I just found it personally hilarious. And I'm kind of scared too, because I feel like maybe that's going to be me in 40, 50 years. I hope not, because right now I am more than open to these type of movies, and I'm like, bring them on. I've seen plenty of zombie movies. If you have The Dead Don't Die, if you have more movies like that to offer me, bring them on, because it was a unique experience, and I'll honestly probably revisit it. And maybe my rating will go up higher. It's just for now, I think that personally, I'm very harsh on comedies. And second, again, I think some elements were just kind of like underdeveloped a bit. But nonetheless, still, very enjoyable movie. And enough exposition. Guys, what did you personally think of The Dead Don't Die? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.